What's up, guys? I'm Eric Lloyd with Oregon Risk Management Solutions, and we're back for episode 12 of What Not to Do. Just like our other episodes, we're going to watch some workplace safety fails. We're going to watch some accidents, some injuries. We're going to watch some things go wrong. We're going to talk about what happened, why it happened, what we can learn from it so it doesn't happen again, what OSHA might say about it, what we can integrate at our workplaces to prevent those types of things. We're probably going to have some laughs along the way. Let's go ahead and jump right into clip number 1. This one's called, I Think We Need a Mechanic. Big dump truck. Oh! Holy cow. Get this guy go running up to the side of it. He knows something's going on. Wow. So I'm thinking we must have been lifting something that was way too heavy for the capacity of the truck, and it overloaded the hydraulics for it, is the only thing I can figure out there. It almost seemed like the arm picking the dump bed up was like bowing or bending a little bit even, and it must have given out and overloaded the system. I still want to know why that guy was running up to it. I don't know if he saw there was a problem, he was trying to go fix it, what he was thinking there. Obviously situations vary depending on the details of what's going on and who else is around. But man, if we see a piece of machinery about to fail like that, I'd sure prefer if everybody was running the other direction rather than him running up to it. You know, we always say, hey, we've got insurance on our equipment and our buildings and our crops, and everything we've got on our farms or our workplaces, we've got coverage for the most part. We can get that replaced. We can't replace our people, right? And if he's running up there when that hydraulic system fails and he got hurt, or God forbid he got killed, that's awful versus just getting out of there and letting it fail. So, as far as the response itself, like I said, I'd sure love to see everybody running the opposite direction. How do we avoid that from happening in the first place is figuring out what our machine can actually lift and then doing some calculations as far as how much of whatever our cargo is. That looked like it might have been gravel or something on the heavier side. And, every now and then you see somebody, hey, I'm going to take a half-ton pickup and go get a load of gravel, and they dump it in there and bottom out the suspension on it, right? We really do need to know the weight capacity of our machinery, and we need to know the weight of what we're hauling so we can make sure our load is appropriate. So that's what stands out to me is probably overloaded the machine in the first place. Might have been a maintenance issue as well. Maybe we didn't get our hydraulic system or our truck inspected regularly, and that contributed to it. But the point at which we see something going wrong like that, we should all be heading the other direction. Okay, clip number 2 says, guy's doing well. He's gonna be fine, it's fine. What? Oh my Lord, he's building himself a well. How are those things not breaking when you drop them in there? They just keep coming and coming. What does one of those things weigh? That can't be easy. Now he just stands on the edge of it. He's going down inside of it? Dakota, what did you find us? I don't even know where to start. So, one of those things was 3 feet, 4 feet, pretty deep. We dropped 8, 10 of them down there. I mean, that's a 30 to 40 foot hole that we've got soft edges on the sides of, and we're standing on the edge of while shoving a couple 100-pound item over the edge of it. So what's to stop him from following that thing down into it? Man, being so close to the edge like that, if anything goes wrong, if the ground gives out from underneath him or he loses his traction, follows one of those rings down into the bottom, he's going to have a real bad day. OSHA's rules for fall protection generally say that whenever we've got a drop of 48 inches or more, 4 feet or more, we've got to have something protecting us from falling. If that's railings or a harness or just a standoff distance, if we've got a hole like that, it's temporary, that we wouldn't want to build railings around it. You can create just like a 6-foot perimeter that nobody's allowed into. But to be just standing right on the edge of that, he'd need to definitely be tied off. Or I think in a much better situation, we're using a piece of equipment. That's where our crane comes into play, is to drop stuff down into holes like that versus him just manhandling that in there and dropping them in. So there's a piece of that. But then once he gets into, climbs inside of it on the very edge there, you worry about those things settling and pinching his toes, or again, him falling into it. I don't know if he's going to then proceed to climb down into that thing where we're getting into confined space entry requirements. We have to have a whole, program, a training system, an extraction harness for him. There's a lot that goes into legally and safely doing confined space entry as well. So a lot of those things kind of going out the window here. Okay, on to our third clip, forklift unloading problems. Just cruising along, doing forklift stuff, nothing to see. He's driving backwards with his big cargo there, that's good. Looks like we're going in and out of trucks. Oh, no. And he fell out of it too. I hope he stands up. Wow, okay, so that's a solid one, and that definitely hits close to home. We've had some clients that have had very similar experiences to that, and some people get hurt real bad, and I know some fatalities have occurred from that. We were able to see as we look at it another time, he jumped off to the side, the forklift keeps rolling forward, and you see him stand up just barely on the edge there, so he walked away from that, but I'd say he's pretty lucky that he did. Man, what a perfect storm of a lot of things going wrong all together here. And I do really hope that for those of you that do any forklift driving in and out of trucks, that you take this stuff serious, because it makes a world of difference. Where we've talked about this in the past, one of the big things is communication between the forklift driver and the truck driver. I've talked to people that have said, their policy at their packing or their facility, their loading docks, is that the driver has to physically get out of the truck. Sometimes they make them give them their keys so they can't even start it again. So there is no risk of the truck driving off until we're ready for them to do that. I think that's a really smart policy. A lot of modern loading docks like that are equipped with dock locks, the actual arms that physically come up and grab the bumper to keep you from driving off. I don't know for sure whether this one had it or not, but it's a legal requirement from OSHA that we've got either dock locks or tire chocks in place, some kind of physical barrier to prevent the truck from driving off. And even just preventing it from rolling a little bit, like if the brakes didn't get set properly or the brakes didn't work, to prevent it from getting pushed out. So obviously we didn't have that in place. We didn't have the dock locks or the tire chocks here. And then, man, the single biggest thing that I always push with forklifts is we didn't have our seatbelt on. He tried to jump out of that thing, and in this case, he pulled it off. He got lucky. But the cages built into a forklift are tanks. I mean, you can roll those things down a hill and walk away from it as long as you can stay inside that cage. But when people get scared, when they think, oh my, I got to get out of this thing, right? It's going to tip over, it's going to fall, and they try and jump clear from it, a lot of times you're not able to make it, and then the thing ends up landing on top of you. We've seen fatalities from that in our general area here in recent history. I mean, this is not hypothetical. That happens. So if anything goes wrong with the forklift, our best bet is to just stay inside that cage and ride it out until it lands and everything is stable. And the best way to do that, we always talk about our seatbelt all the time, every time, right? And then just grabbing onto that steering wheel and hanging on, riding it over until we get there. We just got to collaborate recently with SAIF Corporation and a couple of our clients that we work with, Pradham Co-op and Orchard View Seed, to help create a new forklift training video that covers a lot of those things and a lot more. Right? It's a Oregon OSHA legal forklift certification program that I'm going to have producer Dakota throw a link in here at the end of this so that if you haven't seen that, you can check it out. If you've got forklift operators, please make sure you're talking about these things. You'll even get to see producer Dakota in the video. He's a movie star. Okay, we've got clip number 4 called Choo Choo coming through. What is he doing up there? This is like in the Westerns, where they're robbing the train and they jump car to car, but he's in an excavator. That's cool. So what the heck is he doing up there? Why are we doing that? I assume we're trying to unload the car somehow, but that feels like a less than ideal way to do that. Those rail cars have a rating of some sort of how much weight they can hold, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that an excavator might be kind of pushing our limits on that. Definitely going to be doing some damage to the rail cars that if anybody's ever gotten to interact with any of the railroads, they really appreciate that. They'll send you a nice big bill when you mess up their rail cars. And then the stability of that, he's bouncing back and forth. If he tips that thing over, that's no good. Here's what I want to know is, how did he get that thing up there? Did we have a ramp? Did we use another piece of machinery to pick it up and set it there? I don't know, but all around that feels like a less than ideal situation. There's got to be a better way to empty that stuff out. All right, we got one more clip, clip number 5. We're doing some demo work. We're using the drill. We're standing. This is like Looney Tunes physics here, where you go out on the branch and then you saw the wrong side. Yeah, we're dropping. Holy cow. Nobody's standing up at the bottom there. He took a good fall and he's still getting up and good to go. Wow, he's lucky. Man, what do we be doing about that? We got some fall protection issues again here. I mean, that's definitely working on the edge of that drop off like that. We'd need something to keep us from falling that harness with a lanyard and an approved anchor point that we know can hold us, so that if we do have anything drop out from underneath us, there's something catching us, and you know, even if we just fall off the edge, you know, we don't have to have the catastrophic structural failure to have a pretty big fall there. I'd wonder again if there wasn't some way that we could be using some different tools to our advantage there to stay away from what we're working on. Maybe we could bring in a piece of equipment. Maybe we need some scaffolding. There's got to be a better way to do this here. Okay, that's going to be it for episode 12. Again, if you guys run forklifts on your operation at all, please check out that training resource we linked. I'm really proud of how that turned out. Please check out our website, OregonRMS.com, for information on our trauma kits and our fire extinguishers and all the different services we offer. If you're enjoying what we're doing, please like and subscribe to our videos. Please share them around so other people can see them too. That's going to be it for today, and we'll see you back next time for episode 13 of What Not to Do. Thanks for watching.